Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Trans Culture Club podcast. It's been another week, and we're all still here. You can't get rid of us that easily. Who's joining me this week? Let's find out. Hello, Ferris.
Hey!
Hello, Jackie.
Hey, I'm here.
Hello, Lachlan.
Yeah, me too.
And hello, Zaria.
Glad to be here.
Oh, the proof will be when all of her taxes bounce.
Yeah.
Oh no!
R.I.P. Lachlan.
Yeah. The 30, maybe an hour before we started recording, Lachlan was like, "Oh, I don't think I can record today because I've got taxes to do." And we broke it down really, really easily.
Taxes due in 2 days. Goddamn.
Well, it didn't help that she
That's 2
instantly
days.
posted
That's like...
Nano Fate.
Yeah, no,
after-
you sealed your own fate. It was pretty clear you weren't doing your taxes.
You have 24 hours to procrastinate, maybe another 12 hours, and then you do them, and then you're set.
I was going to say, you said you had 2 days. To me, that means that today is free.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I am very much part of the procrastination school of ruining my life.
Why did you say school and not procrastination nation?
Because that's redundant sonically and sounds weird.
It sounds amazing.
The procrastination nation, we don't have a constitution yet.
With the procrastination.
We'll get to it eventually. No, it's just YouTuber taxes are relatively complicated and
that's
spooky
right.
to attempt to navigate.
Because you guys don't get taxes automatically taken out, huh?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Oh, weird.
Welcome to the Taxes Culture Club.
Taxes are trans culture.
Existential fear over taxes, absolutely.
Yep.
Oh my god, I'm so glad I don't have to do any tax paperwork. It all just comes out of my shirt.
You should be able
thinking
to
about
fill
that.
in your taxes on the back of a postcard. Vote for me. I'm some Republican jack-off. I forget who. Ted Cruz, maybe? I think it was Ted Cruz.
It's probably Ted Cruz. AKA the Zodiac Killer.
I was going to say, he's very, very, very familiar with postcards.
Friend of the show, the
to police
Zodiac Killer,
stations.
Ted Cruz.
Okay, podcast. So let's start off with... I'm going to say the biggest news, the coolest news that we've had since this podcast started.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very confident in making that claim. Ferris, take it away.
Hi. So, guess what? Lucky April 13th, a Friday, I was able to get my first shot of HRT, and it was great. Yay! Yay! So, for anyone who might not be familiar, when you take testosterone, you can't take it in a pill. You can't take it as anything else. The way that my doctor explained it to me was it's how it's metabolized in your body. Like if you take it as a pill, it's just gonna poof out of your system before it gets anywhere. So
Weird.
the common ways to do it are a cream, a gel, a patch, or a shot. And just doing it as a shot is kind of the easiest, at least in terms of...
Is it though?
I was going to say it's the easiest, but it's also not the easiest because you're stabbing yourself.
That's hardcore.
So, they had me with the nurse, and they were like, well, eventually you're going to be able to do this yourself. So here's a practice needle, stab this stressed squid. And they're showing me all these cool ways to use a needle, and the best place to do it is your butt, apparently, because it's just the biggest target.
This is important information.
Yeah, all this really, really important information about HRT. It's you have to take it as a shot or some other way. Best place to do it is your butt. Eventually, the needles get really big if you have a big dose, but luckily I have a tiny baby needle because I'm a tiny baby person. But yeah, it was really exciting. I went in and my appointment was supposed to start at 9 o'clock, and I didn't leave until 1 in the afternoon, just because there was so much waiting between like, yeah, we have to get the medication, we have to show you how to use the needle, then we wait and paperwork. And it's cool because California's an informed consent state, so that means you don't have to like have any proof. You just have to say, I acknowledge that I'm familiar with the risks and the effects of this, and I consent to taking this because I'm over 18 and I'm an adult. So yeah, it was really exciting. Like, when I left after getting my first shot, I felt like that picture of the cat that like had the indoor cat that's never gone outside before. Like, I was just looking at the sun and I'm like, oh, everything's beautiful and I understand my place in the world. And
sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
I just want to. I'm showing my ignorance here. I know very little about the HRT process for testosterone. I could make you out of paper a timeline of estrogen effects. But yeah, like what's the first thing, like typically the first thing that people notice?
People have told me that, well, okay, first obviously like anyone's probably aware, like a lot of it is really random and just up to your body chemistry.
Sure.
From what I've heard from people, things they notice first are like, my friend said their voice dropped really quickly within like 2 weeks. So that's
my god.
Yeah,
that's so exciting.
Oh, I like that one. Stuff like facial hair is up to genetics, and I'm like a scrawny Asian, so I don't think that's something I'm going to be seeing a whole bunch of, but you know, you never know. Stuff like muscle redistribution and like body fat redistribution is, I think happens pretty quickly, but it's also one of those things that's like, if you stop or if you change your dose, it's also going to change. Whereas stuff like voice and body hair and stuff, that's just, you start and you're on your way. Good luck.
Yeah, that's a bit more permanent.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what else. Not bleeding from your crotch is something that happens within a few months from what I understand, but that's also probably like also down to your body and how much of a fuck it was being before. Yeah.
Oh, I actually had no idea that was an effect.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
I was going to say that must be a huge win.
Oh god, yeah. I was like,
huge
no
win
more
in the battle of ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Conquering.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna have your fucking Twitter like bookmarked like the next couple of months. It's always so exciting.
Oh god, yeah. I'm like, well, we're recording every week, so I'm like having a recording of myself every week, which I think is super cool. Yeah. And I'm like made it a point to take selfies, and I'm gonna do it like after every appointment. And yeah. I'm excited.
That's really exciting because I'm like living vicariously through you with the voice. Estrogen does nothing to the voice.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, once your vocal cords lengthen as a result of the testosterone puberty, that's just sort of like how they are physiologically, and they don't unlengthen.
That's a fucking bitch, man.
Yeah. It is.
Tell me about
it. There's okay, so
you can learn to manipulate them. Like you're not stuck with the deepness of voice that they give necessarily. But unfortunately, that's sort of work you have to do. That's not work the HRT is going to do.
It's difficult work as well. I hands down believe that changing your voice is by far the most labor-intensive part of a transition.
I can believe that. Like, I had no idea that it didn't kind of work in reverse with estrogen. Wow.
No.
Damn.
But I mean, T is just super powerful. So,
Too
like,
powerful
honestly,
for me to handle. I don't deserve that
Too
power.
much.
T is so much like the effects of a testosterone HRT is just so much more drastic than estrogen. Like estrogen's magic, don't get me wrong, but there's just some things estrogen can't fix. Yeah, and I think voice is probably like the big one, but the rule of thumb I always kind of think of is like, as a rule, trans men get a lot more out of HRT, but trans women can get a lot more out of surgeries.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was noticing in terms of like seeing what was available while doing research and seeing like lists of effects and lists of things this doesn't do and lists of things that are totally Russian roulette in terms of HRT.
Yeah.
So like
That's really nostalgic. I remember looking at all of those lists, and making like a tier list of like, okay, this is S tier, this is E tier.
My favorite Smash Brothers tier list.
Yes. I was definitely like camping Reddits, like subreddits and information sites and being like,
Oh my goodness, that's so nostalgic. I remember when I literally used to have trans timelines and ask transgender both bookmarked, and I would like check them every single day for like probably about 3 or 4 months, like very early on in my transition.
I have
like
a
try and
friend
sponge as much as possible.
who started like a couple days before me. And so we're like super hyped to compare notes. And actually last night we went drinking and
Nice.
I fell asleep for an hour and, you know, it was a big gay celebration.
Yeah.
My favorite kind.
Oh, yeah. We had, we ordered we went to like this Korean pub and they had yakitori and there was jumbo sausage on the menu and meatballs.
Nice.
So of course we had a great party ordering our jumbo sausage and our meatballs and our large mushrooms on sticks.
This sounds great.
It was delicious. I don't remember any of it anymore, but I'm sure it was delicious.
Cool. That's definitely something we'll be coming back to.
Heck yeah.
For certain. And I think we're all extremely excited.
Yeah,
definitely.
And fingers crossed for vocal changes soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to another topic. Generally speaking, this week we have a few items of news that we kind of want to talk about. We haven't really done much news yet. I don't think. Would you say we have outside of like?
we haven't done
really.
much like
This is like
trans
world
news. We did esports news, but
We've done
This is
esports news. We've done weeaboo news, but not like world news.
This is like world news. And because that's like really grown up adult stuff, we're gonna immediately just regress and talk about anime for the rest of the podcast. So yeah, let's talk about Portugal first. Portugal this week just passed. Hang on, I really should have this open. Portugal gender.
I know. I'm like, oh shit! Wait, I didn't Google this.
Yeah, I just so I know like the title of what they've passed and stuff. So yeah, Portugal has passed a gender recognition law, which basically allows all of Portugal's citizens to self-identify. In most countries, I believe in America and UK as well, you can change your legal gender through the process of transition treatment through gender clinics in the UK.
In the US, it depends on the state.
yeah, it's very
Like
state by
California
state.
has just self-recognition at this point. I think they
does it
passed
really?
that last year.
It does,
wow.
but you have to pay like $400 to do it.
Yeah, that's the downside.
Yeah, I'll pay myself for my self-recognition. Thank you. Yeah, and the big deal about this is it removes so many layers of gatekeeping from the process, and it's a very contentious law that is being looked at in a lot of countries, including the UK right now. I believe it's 6 other countries in Europe have passed it recently.
Okay.
I believe Ireland is one. Off the top of my head.
Oh wait, I found a list here. Malta, Norway, Denmark, Ireland, and Belgium, along with Portugal now.
Okay, yeah.
So, is this law that Portugal just passed and those other countries have passed just sort of the ability with minimal gatekeeping to go put male or female on your ID, or is it more like do they have non-binary gender identities that you can go with?
That is a very, very good question. One that I am not fully prepared to answer. If I had to guess, I would imagine that it is simply being able to self-identify if you're male or female. I think realistically, we probably have a way to go before we can people can be.
I mean, from what I understand, California does allow for non-binary identification.
Yeah,
I don't think it's. I think it's on the table in California.
I don't think it's passed. Yeah,
let me check.
It hasn't.
It's like Washington and Colorado, I think, are the 2 states that have non-binary like legal ID
I believe it's Washington and one other state.
It was signed in California. It hasn't gone into effect yet, but it will be a legal option in 2019.
Oh, what? Sweet. I'm going to tell everyone.
Cool. I'll hit you up soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, it's just I am not aware of, like, I know that you can get your legal gender changed in the UK. I honestly have no idea if you can select a non-binary. Yeah.
I haven't seen any mention of it for Portugal.
It is such an overlooked issue, to be honest. I feel like a lot of the trans like equality movements right now are just really pushing against a creep of transphobia that we're having to deal with at the minute.
Yeah.
And I feel like, there's just not a lot of space for looking into pushing non-binary equality, sadly.
I know, it's like it's this really sad state of affairs where there's just so much shit you have to fight that like eventually you run out of energy and people and resources. But it's just like this super overlooked issue. And I'm glad that like some places are, you know, wising up to the fact that there are other people out there who, you know, don't need to be column A or column B. It's fine. Doesn't like change the fabric of society or anything. So.
Yeah. Lachlan, to get back to your question, I believe the general idea of gender, like self-IDing your own gender, is literally like it gives you the same ability to change your, like changing your own name, for example. You know, it just lets you. It basically means that you don't need a doctor, right, to sign off on you being able to do this.
Yeah, and it seems like Portugal's law also allows 16-year-olds to do so now with parental permission, where previously you had to be 18 to get that gender change.
Sure. There's also the Portugal law, I noticed. Small note here. It also outlaws unnecessary surgery on intersex children, which is, again, a very important part of the whole, you know, trans movement, but gets completely overlooked just because there's just so much noise.
It's just like, it's because like surgery on really young children just was so common and like something that was just done to like quote unquote give kids a normal life or whatever BS, that like you don't realize how prevalent intersex people are in our populations.
They basically were just surgically erased, you know?
And then like if they quote unquote picked wrong and, you know, puberty happens and the body takes a different route, like, I cannot imagine how fucking like dysphoric that must be for someone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, no, go ahead.
Go on. No, you go ahead.
No. I was just gonna segue us away because it seemed like we were done. If you guys want to say,
yeah. Okay. Cool. This is just like, I mean, it's, you know, Portugal is a relatively small European country, one of 6 now in Europe. God, we've got such a long march ahead to get to where we need to be. But just, you know, I do like. I mean, it's the same with equal marriage, you know, just anytime I'm just on Twitter or on a news feed and I see, you know, this country in the world, like, oh God, I mean, somewhere just Trinidad and Tobago this week just legalized gay sex, you know?
Oh God.
I thought you were going to say like gay marriage and it was just like gay sex. I'm like, oh, holy shit.
But it's progress.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
I mean, obviously it's so far behind. It's you know, absurd that gay sex could be illegal in this day and age. Some countries, sadly, it is.
Like, any progress is good progress, but Jesus.
Yes.
I know. It's like any progress is great, but holy shit, are we this behind? Like, as a species?
Yeah. I mean, the ones that really scare me are the ones where it's like, oh my God, what country was it that was like really looking at repealing gay marriage?
Ew.
Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you. It was, I want to say maybe a smaller country. But yeah, no, there's sometimes every now and again, maybe for every 10 headlines like that, the progress headlines, I do get one where it's like so and so country, you know, there's a bill that wants to repeal gay marriage or something like that, and it's just like, oh my God, we just can't take our eyes off this fucking planet.
bad planet. Behave yourself.
It's just like,
it's not the planet's fault.
I look away for 5 fucking minutes and someone's got to mess something up.
Trying to ban marriage again. What are you doing?
Yeah. But for me personally, I actually think that being able to self-identify gender is, I mean, maybe not as symbolically important as marriage equality, but for transgender rights, I think it's
a big, I think it's normalizing step. Yeah.
It really is. So that's really cool. And the UK is also considering a law like this, and oh my goodness, it's getting messy.
Yeah. We could be here all day about this.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh goodness. It's like, it's not quite as just pure shit show as the Australian marriage equality turned into. But it's pretty unpleasant, to be perfectly honest.
I don't see non-binary identities getting recognised anytime soon.
I know. It's fine. One day we'll destroy Mumsnet.
Yeah, no, the UK seems like the whole climate there seems particularly heated, even in excess of the sort of controversy that exists around it in the United States. And that's maybe because like a lot of our civil rights-y stuff ends up getting established and settled by the courts instead of the legislature. So we're not having like a legislative debate on it. Politicians' stances on the issue aren't as universally important because they may very well not end up actually being in a position where they're going to be voting on trans rights stuff. So it doesn't get like that same heated place in the public political discourse.
I honestly, I don't know what it is. I mean, the UK just seems like such a hotbed for TERFs at the minute. Like seriously, if you look at like, not just like, you know, obviously there's a lot of problems with just transphobia in general in like America, for example. But if you look at like specifically at TERFs, it's like the UK is like the breeding zone for that kind of movement. I couldn't tell you. I honestly, I couldn't tell you why. There could be a lot of that. I feel like that is a really layered socio-economical fucking mess to untangle. You know, and would really get into the difference between, the American working class, the British working class, the American left, and the British left. But yeah, it's crazy. It's really unpleasant, honestly. I have a short list of countries I would love to move to if things got too bad. Which, as someone who is potentially entering the public eye in the next year, that could be a real consideration. But anyway, let's move on to another relatively feel good and more progress, let's say. I'm gonna bounce this one over to you, Lachlan, because you seem to have read the articles on this one.
I read a little bit. Yeah, just a squishy. So, a federal court in Seattle, Washington, has ruled against Donald Trump's newest sort of version of his trans military ban. He sort of pared it down. Made some exceptions, so it wasn't as ironclad a ban, so it was maybe more reasonable. But the court has sort of basically a legal team challenged this new plan from Trump, and he motioned to dismiss their challenge, but the court has said no, it's valid, and they're moving forward with it. And as part of moving forward with it, Trump sort of isn't allowed to institute it in the meantime. So that's good. And also, perhaps even more noteworthy is the fact that as a part of that ruling, transgender people have been classified as a protected class, which is a sort of legal designation in the United States to sort of protect against discrimination. Things like firing people on the basis of a protected class status isn't allowed. And that's a big one, obviously. Job security for trans people is a big issue, and we don't have much in the way of federal law sort of protecting trans people. So, for example, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 set race, religion, national origin as protected classes. So that's like the general wheelhouse, or ballpark, your pick. That we are in.
Yo, guys, I'm going to the ball house tonight. Who's coming?
Oh, I'm always at the ball house. I'll see you there.
What do I got?
HAUS, ball house. Let's go.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But
So we're
yeah,
up there now with race, religion, gender, age, national origin, all that good stuff in terms of not being allowed to be discriminated against on those bases, whatever.
it's
Again, it's one of
kind
those
of
things where
like.
it's like,
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's like, to me, when you describe that, it's like, holy shit, we weren't already?
Yeah, no, we were not like, hey, these people are a minority that lots of people dislike, so here's a law saying you're not allowed to act out on that prejudice.
Yeah, a lot of like anti-prejudice rulings for trans people in the past have been based on sex discrimination.
Right.
So like they were saying, so if you think someone should be X gender and they're not, and you treat them poorly, then that's illegal because you're discriminating against them because of their sex. Whereas now this is, you can't discriminate against transgender people because they're transgender. It's like we don't have to play the mental acrobatics that we used to protect transgender people.
The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission had generally interpreted sex to be an umbrella that included discrimination against sexual orientation and gender identity. But now, as Ferris said, it's a little more clear and direct. And the thing is that this doesn't like stop things such as employment discrimination suddenly, because while you're not allowed to do it, it's not quite a law. It's a legal precedent because the court determined, hey, you're not allowed to do that. So anyone who's sort of being discriminated against should now win their case when they go to court over it, but they still have to go through that entire arduous and often expensive legal process. So sort of equal accessible justice for trans people is not really there yet, but it's on the way to being there. This is a big step.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I just like the fact that he just keeps fucking getting denied.
Suck it, dump! Suck it, Cheeto Satan!
I just want to say that I'm very impressed that we went 6 episodes without mentioning Trump.
Yo, real talk.
I feel like this is one of those drink to forget things.
Well, I feel like honestly that is the I mean, it's not, but it's a very satisfying way to deal with him. Is just not fucking talk about him.
I know. It's like sometimes you just need this happy hour to not think about how an orange with an open anus is ruining the world.
His face does like anus skin.
I like the people who like Photoshop his mouth in place of his eyes, and you can't tell the difference.
Yeah, I do like that. Yeah, there's just like this whole thing is just it reminds me of that fucking Simpsons meme. How many times do we need to teach you this lesson, old man? No, that's SpongeBob. That's SpongeBob. Same thing.
SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Want to read a choice quote from my man Trumpito.
Oh, good.
Thank you to the LGBT community. I will fight for you while Hillary brings in more people that will threaten your freedoms and beliefs.
What? What?
Thanks for having my back, Trump. I appreciate it.
Thank you for banning me from the military.
So you know how presidential flip-flops were a thing for a while, and you could get like 2 contradicting Trump tweets on printed onto flip-flops. It's gotten to the point now where Trump has contradicted himself so many times he can get 5 full fucking panels in that meme of the 2 dudes shouting at each other. There are 5 separate contradictory tweets about Syria right now going around.
Yeah, it's really good.
As your president, I will do everything in my power to protect our LGBT citizens from the violence and oppression of a hateful foreign ideology. So he'll protect us from the Muslims. Anything else, that's a bit of a question mark, I guess.
Yeah, well, you can't have it all, you know. Protection from quote-unquote brown people, protection from other people.
Protect me from white people, IMO, if I had to pick one.
I know, I'm like, please protect me from white people. I don't want this.
So many contradictions, you can make a new season of Flip Flappers out of it. I'm very sorry about that, Sarah.
Yeah, you should be.
Oh my god, Flip Floppers. Let's go. Okay, cool. And I guess to kind of wrap up our news, we're going to go from the international political scale down to YouTuber being a dumbass.
It must be a day ending with Y.
Yep.
Oh, I'm going to be all over this one. Let's fucking go.
Time to rumble.
Every morning I spin the wheel. What slur has a YouTuber used today? Is it against women? Is it against black people? Is it against Jewish people? Is it against transgender people? Like,
you just never know.
Real talk,
you just never know.
Real talk, one of the best fucking memes I've seen like this month was I don't even know where it came from. It was some parody account, I think, on Twitter, but the popular TV series Don't Say a Slur was cancelled after after all contestants failed in the first round, like the Twitch streaming. Like,
no, I saw one that was like, you know that intro to Simpsons when it's like 0 days without an accident? Yeah, 0 days without a streamer saying a slur.
But it's not a streamer this time. This time we're talking about popular YouTuber Matt Pat, which I am roughly aware of. He's the game theory dude, I believe.
Matt Pat is transphobic? Hey, that's just a theory. Thanks for watching.
Oh, shit.
Luckily, I'm banning you just from everything for that.
So to kind of, I guess, to just put the tone right on what we're trying to do here. This isn't just a straight up calling out of MatPat, but at this point he's fucked up 2 apologies. So I really don't have much sympathy for him.
Yeah.
The main thing is just to have a discussion about, I guess, people in prominent positions being ignorant and then doubling down on that ignorance, right? It's like, ignorance is something that I can forgive. Refusing to learn is something I can't.
Especially if you make a tweet about how you should apologize when you do something wrong, and then very promptly refuse to apologize after doing something wrong.
Yeah, to read his March 18th tweet. If you make a mistake, say, I'm sorry. Lately, it seems like people are afraid to apologize. They see it as admitting weakness. But saying I'm sorry shows you're confident enough to admit you're not perfect, that you care about others, and that you're committed to improving.
So wise.
Are you saying that MatPat might have a big ego?
Now, to read off
just a theory.
To read off his apology from
well, I
yesterday.
think we should start with what he did before we get into the apologies, right?
Comedic timing. I just said, I just read his "you have to apologize" tweet. Now I have to read his apology, Brooke.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Go on.
So in response to Andrea's tweet, with a few screen caps from his video, complaining about the approach he took, he said, "Clearly, I respect the community so much that I left the field completely open because I wanted everyone to be able to express themselves exactly as they identify. The responses I cited were intended as jokes by the people who entered them. Point your witch hunt somewhere else."
What?
I know. It's just so... it's just... There's some things that can only come out of the mouth of someone who's not a good person.
Yeah. Usually the word witch hunt.
That's what really set me off.
Yeah.
Because that's actually like disgusting and indicative of a deficit of character.
Yeah, I mean, a part of the thing I really want to focus on here is MatPat has 5 million followers on Twitter.
And I think just to give people some background, if they haven't seen this on Twitter, is MatPat basically gave a huge platform to the I identify as an Apache attack helicopter.
Yeah, I guess we're getting away from actually what happened.
Yeah, to go over...
Because I feel like that's the least, almost it's the least important part of this whole discussion is what he actually did. So yeah, go on, Lachlan.
Yeah, so at the start of his most recent video, it was one on Fortnite, he went over data from a poll he asked people to participate in a previous video.
Fortnite Colors Foundation.
No. It was the gamer census, and in his gamer census, he got like age and how often they play, I guess, and things like that. Standard data that's useful to have. And for gender, he didn't make sort of Google Forms male, female, or like male, female, other. He left it as a blank response, so you can just fill in whatever your gender identity is. And then in that video, he spent about a minute just going through and riffing on some of the responses people had. All of them, silly, absurd stuff. He mentioned I didn't know there were over 600 genders. And then he mentioned helisexual solidarity. Good to see people standing up for that in response to the Apache helicopter identifications. But then through all that, actual a non-binary, gender fluid, agender, none of those got mentioned at all in the video. And then when he goes, in the end, we threw out junk data, obviously, and with what we were left with, it was an 80% male, 20% female split. So what was the point of you allowing people to enter their correct gender identity as a non-binary gender if you were going to boil it down into a binary gendered result? And what happened to, okay, you delete the Apache helicopter people, fine. You can control F and just find people who put non-binary as a response, an actual gender identity, actual, NB people use. Did they get thrown out? did you just arbitrarily like assign a gender to those people's data? Because he said in a later tweet that like no one's data got thrown out. So presumably he like ignored their gender and just left it as a blank, or gave them a male, female, like something.
Yeah, I think probably, if I'm being very cynical, he probably would just say like, okay, anything that isn't female is male. Like anyone who's writing like toaster or anything that, you know, isn't part of the binary just gets male because haha, jokesters, you know?
Yeah, I'd imagine he would just not like the most reasonable thing, and I think like this would make sense for him to do, would be to just, and anyone who didn't pick male or female, he just didn't add them to the pool of like data for gender, but then he'd use like their response on how many hours a week they game and stuff like that.
I guess maybe.
But I feel like the intended purpose of allowing people to just a blank to put their gender identification had to be like because he had premeditated this like joke and riffing on it, because you
it definitely
like,
seems like that.
Okay, and he says he respects the community and that's why he left it open. And no, maybe he's just really, really, really stupid. Maybe that's it. Maybe I'm giving him too much credit. But like, it is not respectful to the community to allow them to put their actual gender identity, and then for you in the video to erase that gender identity, right? It's not respectful for like any of your NB fans to go fill out your poll. Yay, I get to like correctly mark my gender identity. And then to watch your video where you break down the data and just have their gender like excluded from your data. Like that can't feel good.
And then to like move on to giving like more airtime to people who are very clearly making fun of you.
Yeah, and he claims he didn't realize that attack helicopter was like an anti-trans thing.
How long has he been around the YouTube?
Yeah, I find it tough to believe that you're like so online. And it's especially like eyebrow raising because he said that in a later response to Andrea's tweet. He said, a friend of mine just told me that actually it's offensive and not good. Sorry about that. Or whatever he said. He had been getting told that on Twitter by Andrea. So it's just he didn't trust her.
Like burying, I guess, what the closest you get to actual sincerity at the end of a huge tweet chain, which starts with him,
the most sassy, self-assured witch hunt. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So here's his like later tweet, which came 5 hours after his initial one. Just to clarify, no data was thrown out due to gender response, so he just ignored their gender, presumably. And then, Austin just let him know that attack helicopter has a transphobic history. He wasn't aware, and he's sorry for including it. He assumed, like most of the answers, it was just a dumb meme people wrote in.
I think saying it's just a dumb meme completely ignores the fact that dumb memes usually start because people are mocking something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, here's a question, Ferris. How many times were you told that trap is just a dumb meme?
I would be so rich. I would be so fucking rich if I had $1 for every time someone was like, "It's just a dumb meme." Well, yeah, it's a meme making fun of someone, so don't use it.
It's a meme to you. It's a meme.
Yeah,
I think it was Ferris. One of you sort of hit the nail on the head, my nail on the head, which is that as a result of MatPat's only presentation of quote-unquote non-binary identities being a weaponized battle toaster, a literal piece of human fecal matter, Apache had attack helicopter, and like the most just outright disregarding of actual non-binary identities you could have.
You just like...
The text he presents is that gender is a binary. Non-binary genders are nothing but a joke, because the only thing he demonstrates them to be is a joke. Anyone with like a limited or just non-existent knowledge of gender and the gender spectrum and non-binary gender identities, if they go into this video, will come away with the impression that non-binary identities are solely a joke. And that's like should be the very obvious and evident subtext of what he was doing there. And he should have been aware of that fact, that he was inherently belittling non-binary identities.
Yeah. And here's the thing, is like, so, right, so he's coming from, a place of ignorance, right? Like, it seems like MatPat, at the very least, has never particularly considered non-binary people. I think that's pretty obvious.
Yeah, like he knew enough to know, like, oh yeah, like it is a thing I should let people do, but he like isn't actually sort of sensitive to any of the details of that, or like how he should even go about actually respecting those identities.
Yeah, like I can forgive ignorance, honestly. Like the thing to me that it was just the responses.
Yeah, no, when you're called out on your ignorance, the manner in which you respond is the key, and he did not respond well.
Giving people, the information that they're lacking and a chance to learn, grow in, and apologize is super important. When people throw that back in your face, fuck them.
Yeah, basically.
And something I do want to point out is that, like I say, MatPat is someone with 5 million Twitter followers, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
He accuses Andrea of having a witch hunt.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot imagine what her notifications must have looked like.
I think I saw
she's blocked
I can, because it's happened to me.
I know. Well, that's the thing. In a kind of similar way, I once brought to Giga's attention, that trans people often take issues with the word trap when he was making a trap joke on Twitter. And his response was so much better than MatPat's, honestly. And I still got over 1,000 notifications. Over 1,000.
It was like hours before Andrea could get to the top of like her mentions tab.
Yeah. And he has less than he has less than 100,000 Twitter followers. I think he's got like 70K. MatPat has 5 million.
Yeah.
Like, that just must have been such a tidal wave of garbage.
Beyond any like specific like gender ignorance, okay, like that's still a relatively niche topic, somewhat confusing to an outsider. As an internet person, it's just woefully and disgustingly irresponsible to not realize the harm's way you're putting someone in when you, as a 5 million follower Twitter account, with lots of, very passionate, loving fans, accuse someone else, who's only 5,000 Twitter followers, of starting a witch hunt against you, which is a very inflammatory, loaded language. You just put her in the line of fire with total disregard for that. And as an internet content creator, as a person with an internet platform, there's an obligation to have at least that degree of self-awareness. Nowhere ever did he say, like, hey guys, don't harass people. Even if you disagree with them, that's not okay, which me, in my much smaller scale than him, have put out multiple times in various situations where I'd gotten into scuffles and I saw that, some people who were jumping into it were getting nasty. That's like basic internet etiquette 101. Just like the common sense of conducting yourself is putting out there a, hey, don't harass people, please.
Like, especially because he interacts so much with gamers, you would think that, like, you would just know that if you put out something to 5 million people, even if only a small percentage of them are going to go full, angry male roid rage gamer, that's still a huge number of people. Like, you cannot be in a space like that he is and not know what's going to happen. Either you're that stupid and you shouldn't be able to like
ignorant and dumb on gender issues. I cannot legitimately believe he didn't know what was going to happen there.
Yeah. I think he just threw a titty baby fit and wanted to throw someone who was giving a legitimate and very measured criticism under the bus.
Yeah. I mean, it reminds me of like... Oh, sorry, Jackie.
Maybe I'm just cynical. And I probably am.
Here we go, the Jackie agenda.
I'm not doing this. Okay, right. I just can't help but think that all these people just don't really care. Just only really care about their own YouTube brand above anything else. Like, you're either with it or you're against it, and that's it.
Hashtag low gang for life.
Yeah.
Like, I could go on this about this. I don't want to.
Oh no, I'm totally cynical, and I likewise could just.
I feel like, yeah, it's just like YouTube is one of those things, kind of like politics, where a certain degree of narcissism is kind of required to get to that size, right? To get to that level, to 5 million Twitter followers, you need to, I guess, be kind of, this is my cynicism, just be like a ruthless, heartless person.
Yeah, but the thing
to a degree,
really invested in internet personalities way more than they are politicians, right? Mm-hmm. That's why it's so like fucking dangerous to do shit like this.
Yeah.
The amount of allegiance that some people have to like YouTube personalities or like B-list people who are famous for whatever is like
insane.
It's mind-boggling.
I've said this before, but internet personalities are not your friends.
I know. They're just here to like get their follow count up. It's not a surprise.
Thanks for
They're
the
not going to notice you more.
Anyway,
as an internet personality, can you confirm that you are not anyone's friend?
I'm a few people's friend.
A few. Yeah.
A few.
Get out of my face, Lachlan.
Yeah. I before the podcast, I saw Logan was trending, and I was like, "Oh, is there any new like? Is it about the film?
Logan sequel? Professor X coming back?
Something like that." It was all caps, so I assume it was actually the film, but because obviously it's Logan, I just learnt that the Logan Paul brothers, the Paul brothers, I should just say, are feuding. Apparently something really important.
They do that every other week.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say something really important and not manufactured this time. Something about a girl. I don't know.
Oh.
But I bet that drives their daily view engine so hard. Yeah.
Maybe we should try that.
Diss tracks.
Jackie, I'm stealing your girlfriend and writing a diss track.
Alright, do it.
And Lil Pump's on the track.
Oh, okay, I'm there now.
Lil Pump's gonna ghostwrite our diss tracks.
I'm gonna call Offset and see if he can hook me up with some bars.
Nice. Okay, cool. That's enough. That's enough of that. Let's just kick back. We did some. Well, that was like really grown-up shit. We talked about world news.
Let's never do it again.
Yeah, let's just talk about anime.
That's great.
Let's almost made it to an hour of that.
Yeah.
We didn't. We made it to an hour almost without talking about anime.
Now it's anime time.
Yeah.
Ferris, last week we didn't talk about anime once. The only time we talked about anime last week was the pre-podcast discussion, very briefly leaking into the actual recording.
Oh shit! That's right.
Yeah. But other than that, yeah, we didn't talk about anime once. So let's fix that by talking about anime for a solid 35 minutes.
Let's do it.
So I guess just to preface this, it's a new season. Anime is one of my favorite things about the anime medium is that it's seasonal.
Mm-hmm.
Which I honestly is any other mediums like that?
Well, I think like syndicated
that's basically
television.
all Japanese television.
Well, no, I don't mean obviously like TV shows have seasons, but they don't all start and all end at the same time.
Like all Japanese dramas also like go with the season the way anime does. It's just like we don't watch.
I don't pay attention to anything other than anime to know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's way less concrete in the West. But there are like summer shows, and you could sort of like.
I get that, but it's not the same. It's not the same. It's like summer blockbusters. Like that's one thing. Having all of the shows start and end at the same time is that's a whole new level. And I actually like it a lot. I think it's really. I actually kind of think it's super healthy for the fandom. I think it drives a lot of discussion. Well, that's the fandom's fault. That's the fandom's fault. That's not the medium's fault. Yeah, but no. So it's the start of a new season. We've got loads of new anime to watch, and I've been shouting out on Twitter like, "Oh, guys, tell me what to watch." And I've been dipping my toes into a bunch of stuff. I think I didn't
reply to you with something from the 80s one. Be proud of me.
That's true. Anna was telling me to watch Yuri Moya just over and over again. Which, to be fair, I am doing. But yeah, I don't know. I don't want to steer this one. Let's someone yell an anime and we'll talk about it.
Why don't we start with Comic Perils?
We needed it.
That's a good point. Yeah, let's talk about Macadamia.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched 2 episodes. It made me cry, so I haven't watched any more. I'm not caught up.
I dropped
2 episodes of season 1, you mean?
Yes, the first 2 episodes of season 1, I cried like a baby, and then when I'm having human feelings, I don't like this.
I think it was like the first 4 episodes of Hiraka made me cry a bunch.
Good.
It was so strong, such a strong opening.
Yeah, I've read all the way through what would be season 4, so I have...
I think.
It's just so good and so pure. I can't stand that like level of purity.
I don't know if I'd call it pure when it's got Mineta, but...
I would agree. It is pure, but it's just got one blemish. Like, that's the thing. Yeah.
I was like, what's the blemish? Wait, I haven't gotten to it yet because I cried too much.
A little
big grape ball shape.
It's diaper-wearing grape baby.
A misogynistic, womanizing diaper-wearing grape baby.
I feel like calling him a womanizer gives him like...
character.
I feel like calling him a womanizer gives him like credit and like a capability that he lacks.
He is not a womanizer. He is just a fucking degenerate.
I did say
I wanted to believe, because I can relate to very small people, I wanted to believe that there was something good about this.
Small people representation you desire.
Deku is your small person.
Yeah, I will take Deku as my small person whom I love and just be like, I'm gonna forget diaper grape baby. I wanted to believe, and then no, my faith was misplaced.
There's the Whitest Kids You Know skit called The Grapist that I like to link a bunch.
I've seen that.
Oh yeah.
I love that. I love that skit, and I believe that should be Mineta's hero name.
Oh God. I need to watch this now. I'm so morbidly curious.
It's in my feed. It's somewhere. I'll probably link it again at some point.
Just link it. Yeah, link it in the notes to this episode.
Yeah, we'll do.
The Whitest Kids You Know.
Hiraka is back. Ooh, maybe. But yeah, it's back.
Wait, what? I'm the whitest kid you know? Is that what is going on here?
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
Sorry.
I don't know if I'd be dating her if that were the case.
Hell yeah. Fucking support, assist. Hell yeah.
Look, just let me dunk on Bakugan. It's what I do best. It's why I got invited here.
I think if you're English or whiter to be H.
I mean,
yeah, no, that's true. 100%.
There is definitely a lack of sun. There is definitely a lack of sun involved in
as
this.
A person of color, I have to say that Lachlan's right, and sorry, English people.
No, I mean, no joke. When I saw the specialist in New York, she could not believe how fair my skin was. I was like, yeah, that's like we get 2 days of sunshine a year up in the north of England. That'll do it.
The north is a scary place. Don't go there.
North is kinda a scary place.
I went to York once, and I will never forget that.
Let's. Do any of us really want to talk about Hiroaka, or are we literally just mentioning it for the thumbnail and the title?
I want to talk about Hiroaka because I've never seen past the 4th episode, but something about it makes me love it so much.
Let's talk about the character. Let's talk about the character that should be showing up next episode.
Yeah.
My new favorite person in the world?
Yeah.
Yes.
So Ferris, as we were in like the pre-recording call here, sorting things out, just found out about the existence of this character.
I'm gonna say the first canonically, explicitly transgender character in shonen history, and obviously, there's this character.
There have been. I don't know if they've been treated respectfully, like the ones who are outright explicit, but there have been others.
I'm talking about. Here's the thing. There's a lot of like gender non-conforming characters in anime and in shonen as well. Like I think probably the best example would be a character like Aluka in Kill la Kill. Being very. Yeah, it's wow, yeah,
double same words title show.
Yeah, you can really see how I made that mistake. That's so funny.
She's from a good anime, not a bad anime.
Hunter. You praise Imaishi.
But again, that's not a character who is specifically, there's backstory about her going to Thailand to get surgeries.
That's true.
This is what I mean. Like, this is probably one of the most explicit trans characters in anime history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I guess
we'll see how explicit sort of the anime gets with it, because as I understand it, his whole gender identity is explained in like one of the like little end of the chapter biography blurb things. So like that obviously wouldn't necessarily be adapted. So it's just a matter of sort of how they handle it and what exactly they say.
To some degree they show up in like at the eye catch, but I don't know if I don't remember how much they usually say in the mid episode parts.
Big buff trans boy.
I love him. Tora. He's a cat. He wears a skirt and he's huge and buff.
Isn't this just literally Ferris?
It's just I'm not buff yet, but soon.
Dude.
Literally, this is a character that could have been written by a time-traveling Ferris.
It is. He's a kitty. I'm so excited, and I didn't know about this character, and then when we were doing the pre-show, I started screaming.
You still are.
And I'm still screaming. I've literally like had a tab with photos of him up for this whole recording, and so anytime it sounds like I'm zoning out, I'm just like, oh, he's so cute. I'm excited. I think it's really exciting to like have a character who is explicitly a trans man, but also not like made out to be like mismatched or like too girly to be a man or so and so, because I feel like a lot of like gender non-conforming or like transgender characters, they're depicted as being too much of their birth gender to be considered their actual gender. So it's actually really, really exciting.
A lot of the time they're like sort of struggle to pass or be accepted as their gender identity is like the contrast between like their feminine presentation and the manner in which like their masculine traits still are impossible to hide is played up as like a gag.
Yeah, it's like it's played up or it's like made to be like a huge like pity point or something, but no,
that's kind of true for like the other trans character in the series,
I was just about to say it's a really interesting comparison between the other trans character in My Hero Academia,
who I still think she's portrayed better than like a lot of shonen manga would, but like it's not as
it's very
perfect.
realistic.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is.
It's very realistic, and I believe she should be showing up
in this arc too. You should definitely, since this is when the League of Villains gets like active.
I don't want to. The thing is, I want to be a little careful not to give too much away.
Yeah, might as well discuss it as it arises as the season goes on.
This is like the hottest shit, and especially with the character that's showing up next week. It's literally next week. This podcast isn't going up until Sunday, so it's probably out by now.
Hero Academia thumbnail, next episode 2, baby.
Yes!
We're in the money. We're in the money.
But I think Zaria made a really good point. So if we look at, I'm going to call him Chatora. That's what the wiki article. I think that's the easier one for me to go with. So yeah, Chatora, the trans male character, is 6'2" and passes perfectly, pretty much. You know.
And he still wears a skirt. I love it.
And yeah, the other trans character does not pass
at all,
and is is misgendered as well. So it's a really I
wish I could say, like, I wish I could talk about the scene where she gets misgendered, because it's a really good like scene, but it's like super.
We'll get there. It'll be this season. We can get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Okay, I'm watching this. I'm just picking it up at season 3. I'm ready. Yay!
But yeah, Hero Academia is such a. It does so many things right, and then there's Minato. But I do love it. I genuinely do love it. It's one of like my all-time favorite shonen series. Let's talk about another anime.
We gonna get into Comic Girls now?
No, not yet. That's the banger we have to end with.
That's too spicy.
It is.
It's the one everyone's talking about.
Yeah, the one everyone is talking about, Comic Girls.
It's true. Megalobox.
Yeah, Megalobox.
Oh, that's just good.
I just want to call it Megablox. It's so bad.
I like that title.
Yeah. Okay. So Megablox is an anime. I made it halfway through the first episode, and I was just like, I'm just really out of character almost. I'm just not in the mood for this kind of anime right now. Like it's really good. It looks amazing. It's got so much personality. At some point I will love to watch this, but yeah, I don't know.
Is it that boxing anime? And I'm saying this as like the member of the podcast who very admittedly has not been keeping up with seasonals. So I'm just like, is this the one with the buff men and the boxing and the hitting one another?
It is. This is a 50th anniversary sort of project for Ashita no Joe, which is an iconic, old school boxing anime. It was a manga adaptation by incredibly influential director Osamu Dezaki. It's been referenced dozens of times over in various anime in the ensuing decades. And so for this very culturally impactful anime on its 50th anniversary here, they've started a new series that's also about boxing, that is sort of following the general plotline and progression and things.
Found some parallels, but it's very much its own thing.
Yeah, its own twist, its own story.
Let's be real here, guys. It's a huge 5Ds ripoff.
Yeah, 5Ds was the most original anime of all time.
5Ds is the best Yu-Gi-Oh series.
I'm not disagreeing. You're right.
I like 5Ds a lot. It's funny that I thought that like the whole time I was watching. It's like, oh, they live in the slums of this big city and they're second-class citizens. It's 5Ds. Yeah, that it looks like a really heckin' good anime, and I don't know. I'll get back to it.
There's this one bin which is really weird. Like from the production standpoint, downscaled the footage and then upscaled it again to give it an old time feel, and it's just a really odd decision.
It just looks bad. It's an unfortunate decision, because like old anime doesn't look like that.
I know, that's what I said on Twitter. Like, you can get some of the original Ashita no Joe on Blu-ray and it looks gorgeous.
Yeah, it's
whatever.
Still a good show though.
It still
I need to
looks
watch
fantastic,
it.
even.
Yeah, I need to watch it. I want to see men hitting each other.
Oh, it's very good for that.
My
jam.
animation backgrounds, all that is great. And it does like shine through. There's just like a weird, like sort of subtle filtery thing that you'll notice to get the authentic old school anime feel.
It's not authentic.
The authentic old school anime feel.
Just like Mama used to make.
Just like old Zaki used to
make. Same using Dazaki's recipe here.
Anything else, guys? What should people be watching this season?
Oh, well, the other one, and I'm sure they've heard about it because it's like the Annie Twitter show of the season. But Hisone to Maso-tan.
Yes.
Get your torrents ready, boys.
Get your moyos.
Get watching.
Oh, this is the dragon one, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
The dragon pilot plane. Moyo delinquent.
So this is the one that I am not going to watch because Netflix has it.
Yes. You all have to go to your local back underground alley to watch this for now. Until big government allows you to stream it.
It definitely sounds like something I'll check out like an episode or two of. But I'm not going to go out of my way. I'll wait for Netflix to give. Like I did with Kakaguri.
Oh shit! That means that like last season's Netflix hostages are being released from their prisons soon, right?
Fate Apocrypha's all out.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Finally, like okay, Fate Extra was coming out, and I just saw nothing about it on my Twitter, the hub of the whole Fate fandom, because like no one could get to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I don't understand because Violet Evergarden was simulcast on Netflix, right?
No, it was only simulcast.
Except the United States. Right, it was simulcast in Canada. It was simulcast in Europe.
There were a bunch of countries where it wasn't, but like the US was the big, like obviously country where it was not simulcast for some reason.
Yeah, like Netflix simulcasts, chooses where it simulcasts apparently like by throwing darts at a map.
Yeah.
So like it didn't simulcast for the US.
It's probably Netflix is like learning all of the shit that Crunchyroll had to figure out like 10 years ago.
Yep.
Yeah. Like, I have to imagine that just the sheer amount of licensing involved in simulcasting has to be huge. And something that you would, build a company around, for example.
Yeah, no, it's very complicated.
Yeah.
I think in Violet Evergarden's case, like, it was an exception because Kyoani can produce, like, BD quality episodes on a TV schedule because they've been at Violet Evergarden for, like, 2 years, I want to say now. Which is like very uncommon for TV anime productions, which they would have.
Yeah, I mean, they've been. I remember seeing like a trailer for Violet Evergarden like fucking ages ago.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the first PV was out in 2016.
All right, I'm gonna go to the bathroom or I'll probably die. So
yeah, no worries.
Have fun.
We understand the struggles of HRT bladder.
We will save Comic Girls.
We will save Comic Girls, just in general.
Don't tell me I don't suffer from patriarchy, Terps. I suffer from the patriarchal oppression of a tiny bladder, or at least a simulated one now.
What about Gun Gale Online? Because that's something I'm not going to watch, but...
it's gay,
possible.
It's good.
I'm just not going to watch it, though.
I made a tweet on when the first episode aired. It was just like, I edited a pit.
The OP, yeah. Fucking, the OP is glitchy already. Plot holes fucking dropped.
Yeah, I had my fun with it, and then I was out.
I mean, I hear the people who are watching it seem like they're enjoying it.
Yeah,
so where's Princess
so this is SA Alternative, which is a spin-off based in the Gun Gale Online game, which is from SAO2. And the light novels for this are written by the author of the Kino's Journey light novels. So a guy who's a better writer than Kawahara.
I was going to ask if it was written by the same dude, because if not, I might be game.
Yeah, no, you can sort of tell it's not written by Kawahara because there's no rape in it. And that's usually the big tell.
God.
Instead, we just have good gay girls. The main character is a girl who's 6 feet tall, especially in a Japanese context, and she's sort of insecure about that height, and she gets this very short, cutesy character model in Gun Gale Online, and she's just going around kicking ass. And then in episode 2, she meets this beautiful woman, and they team up to shoot people together.
I can't believe in 2018, someone has given me a reason to watch something related to Sword Art Online.
First episode is a bit dull, mainly because the best part of the show, the gay, is not really present. It's just like a sort of like a action sequence.
It's going to be a reoccurring thing.
But it gets real gay in episode 2. So
as long as I don't have to wait like 50 chapters to get to the gay, I'm fine. I'm fine. Anything else is great. I will be patient for my gay.
Gay PUBG, the anime.
Oh, yes.
I mean, that's redundant. PUBG is very gay.
Oh, that's right, Brooke. Yeah, you're like a PUBG pro, so you probably have to watch this show.
No. Well, the thing is, it's just like, I have a limited amount of bandwidth for things I'm going to pick up, and something that's kind of connected to Sword Art Online. It's like, not even from, it's just a case of like, let's say I get really into this show, it's connected to Sword Art Online. That means that there's no path for me to get really engaged with this, so I'm just going to leave it, you know?
I'll watch it for you. I'll just like feed you all the gay on the side.
I mean, like, alternatively, I have literally just finished Dragon Ball Z Kai yesterday. Working my way through the 2 super movies, which are a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And that's definitely something like, if I want to get into something, I want to get into something where I can follow a path down, if that makes sense. But no, I a Sword Art Online side story, even if it's gay, even if it's good, just inherently is less interesting to me because
it's been tainted.
I've bounced off Sword Art Online before, and it's just like the world. Like, that's the thing. I know it takes place in a world that I'm not particularly invested in. I'd rather go into a clean, like a fresh property. Which I have been doing. What else is there? Let's talk about Yori Moi briefly, because I feel like we could maybe do like a full-on discussion on that episode. Like, not quite a book club, but definitely like a 30 minutes, like, you know, one of the biggest anime of the year, very seasonal, not quite as timeless as like a book club thing.
Yeah.
But mostly because I know that Anna would be very upset.
Yeah.
I just want to talk about the show itself. I'm 3 episodes in, and it's good.
It's okay.
At this point, I would definitely say
It's
I'm leaning more towards okay than fantastic, but I do know that I haven't hit the high points yet.
Honestly, no. I think if you're really gonna love the show, you're gonna love it like from episode 1. Because that's.
I mean, I do like the show a lot, and I'm planning on finishing it.
I mean, it changes, but it doesn't like.
It continues developing on the sort of ideas and feelings it sets up from episode 1. So it's not like going to go in a notably different direction from that, so you sort of know what you're getting from the start there.
Yeah.
I actually kind of want to get through it quite quickly now, because we need to talk about Comic Girls, and I don't think we have time to really talk about both. The 2 things that I kind of noted about A Place Further Than the Universe, or Yori Moi, is, first off, I was quite disappointed. Episode 1 and episode 2, kind of, I was getting the impression that the story was going to be roughly, okay, yeah, obviously we're not going to let high school kids go to Antarctica. Can you imagine if one of you died? Like, it would be a national scandal. This is absolutely ridiculous. There's no way. And then they would be like, oh, crap, well, we put in loads of effort and this was a really important bonding experience for us, you know. And then maybe they even went their separate ways a little bit, and then they went in college. I would have thought that would have been a way better fucking story than, holy shit, these high school girls are going to go to Antarctica. Are you fucking kidding me?
My problem with it, because I can't take serious like the dramatic beat when the premise is just inherently like that.
Can you imagine the health and safety? Like,
But
oh my god,
like the whole sort of thematic point of it is that it is like adolescent insanity, and the desire to just like go do something crazy and unlikely as a kid.
I get more out of like Kaon's perspective of that. Like the insanity is like not doing like literally something insane. Like
no, right, but that's the thing for you, Moe. It's the sort of the literal insanity of it.
But it's just like, there's so many adults around them that are letting this happen. Can you imagine if one of those girls died? We would hear about that in America.
You heard it here first. Yorimoy needed more death.
They're only going to be there for the summer portion of the Antarctic
it's still pretty
expedition,
ludicrous.
so that is like notably less dangerous. Like her mom died when it was like dead of winter there.
It's just something that's like, come on. Like for me, it's not taking me out, but it's more like this
Let's
is
Google.
very unbelievable.
Have kids ever been in Antarctica? Youngest person to go.
I feel like I saw like a news bit of some person reaching Antarctica.
Yeah,
who
Lewis
was
Clark, 16 from Bristol.
Yeah.
Spent almost 50 days on ice.
And the people who let him, was it Lewis?
Oh, a 12-year-old boy is approved for Antarctica expedition.
Yeah, no.
So I guess that does fit health and safety.
It's just safekeeping is so important. You have to protect these kids from themselves because they will climb Everest if you look away for 2 seconds.
I guess you just can't call it unrealistic.
I mean, no, you're right. I can't. But at the same time, it's just like, I don't know. Like, as someone who's worked through safekeeping documents, it's just blows my mind. Like, I'm just thinking about the paperwork involved and like the risk, like the risk factors.
You need to destroy the bureaucracy, Burke.
The other thing, Jackie let me know. Apparently, it's written by the same person who wrote Love Live.
What?
Is that?
Yes, yes, it is.
What?
This is my main problem with the show.
Okay.
Well, have you considered that Love Live is good?
Hey, guys,
I have a Love Live fight club now because I
have
will
a Galaxy
fight to
Brain
the death.
take. I have a Galaxy Brain take. Does no one else think it's significant that the person who wrote Love Life has written a character in Yorimoy who is a disillusioned child star?
Oh shit! Oh shit! Galaxy Brain.
Someone get the Jeff Hardy Pink music up.
It should be noted,
But that's just a theory.
that the role of the scriptwriter in anime is often somewhat misunderstood, and because this is an original series from a relatively high-profile director, this is likely to be her project in many regards. This is Atsuko Ishizuka, who previously directed the Pet Girl of Sakaroso, I think, and then No Game No Life.
Sakuga splained right now. Oh,
So, like, things such as the general themes, the direction the plot goes, the characters and their basic personalities, those would have, in all likelihood, been set forth by her, and then the scriptwriter would work with her to sort of bring those to life in script form.
You're ruining my Galaxy Brain take.
I like the Galaxy Brain take. I do.
I was so proud of
Honestly,
it.
it's kind of crazy.
The Sakuga cartel coming in to ruin your fun.
This is just what happens whenever I speak to a fucking anime smarty pants. It's always I always get everything I say. I always get a well actually because
You shouldn't have formed a podcast with 2 anime YouTubers, bro.
Yeah.
3 now.
Please post all your well actuallys in the comments.
Okay. But we definitely should. Once I really want to finish it, and I really want to talk about it with Anna, especially because Anna has gone mad for this anime, and also I want to hear why Jackie fell off it.
I just don't get it.
We need to give that a more time than we have now. I think. No, we need to get to the title card here, guys. The main fight.
Forget all the sequels. Forget
Comic
Megalobox.
Girl.
Forget Hero.
Yeah.
Forget everything you ever knew about comic girls, because these comic girls are going to be real comic girls.
They're also not going to be relatable to anyone who's ever met an actual woman.
Okay, I need to call you out on that. These characters are not these characters are cartoon characters. They're not real people.
But remember, Brooke, I'm a YouTuber. I'm also not a real person, and as such, these are extremely relatable to me.
I mean, okay, that's totally your call to make, 100%. But at the same time, I'm looking at these characters like Mickey Mouse and Daffy Duck. Like, these aren't real people to me.
Didn't you just call me and Zaria Beavis and Butthead previous recording, and you're wondering how?
Okay, yeah, no, that is a really good call. That's a really good call.
Okay, but you two are the Beavis and Butthead of Yuri manga. Let's be real here.
I take it.
But them not being relatable to me doesn't take away from the fact that it's kind of, it didn't stop it being what it is, which is a very over the top, drawn out, not drawn out.
Drawn out.
Oh, that would be a good pun. It's just it's very over the top, very tropey, fun, sweet.
It's a Kirara adaptation, basically.
Yeah, I mentioned this earlier because I wouldn't say you're the expert on Kira, but what would you say? Like, you just say like a lot of those anime adaptations like hit some of the same beats.
I'd say they all hit the exact same beats, and I say that with the utmost love. I think there's actually a lot of transformative power.
They hit those trap beats.
There's a lot of transformative power in the pages of Manga Time Kirara, but they're also pretty samey, but in a good way.
Yeah.
It's generic, but I like the genre, so that's a good thing.
This is my first one. I looked at the list of stuff they've made.
No. You only looked at Kirara Max. Kirara has had 5 magazines throughout its run, and you watched K-On! You probably watched some other shows that they've made, just not on Kirara Max. Magazines are all pretty much the same. Okay.
To me, I think, because I've kind of gone around in a circle on this anime. The first time I watched it, my main comment was that to me it felt like a story that wanted to be sold and not a story that wanted to be told.
That is a very bold statement.
And I definitely understand why I came to that conclusion. I think it's a conclusion a lot of people would come to.
Maybe you just need more of a heart of gold.
It's true.
Take's pretty cold, to be honest.
I just don't think it does itself any favors, and like, I am someone who is starting to become increasingly fatigued with a lot of things in anime. High school is a big one for me, and I guess maybe to a lesser degree, I'm not sure, but just trope characters. But there's definitely, like, once you look past those things, there's definitely stuff to like in Comic Girls. I think for me, a lot of my enjoyment for Comic Girls comes from my love of like Doga Kobo stuff. I'm picking up that.
Oh yeah, no, you like New Game. New Game's a Kirara manga.
Yeah, I like New Game. I like Yuri Yuri. I like Gabriel Dropout. I think I've liked pretty much everything I've watched from Doga Kobo.
Yeah, Comic Girls has a very similar cartoony character acting sensibility to what most Doga Kobo series do. It's not from them. It's from, I think, a newer studio.
Yeah.
But it's got some great animation.
Yeah, it doesn't quite have the same comedic bounce that I like in those series, but it's definitely giving me the vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys want to say about it?
It's perfect. No, I think it's a very good series for a number of reasons. I mean, it's a fairly generic series. It's not doing anything that anything else in the genre hasn't done. I just think it does a really good job at elaborating on what the genre does, on its characters are fun versions of the characters we've seen before. It doesn't it wouldn't be my first recommendation for like Kirara series, but it is very good and gay and
yeah, it's quite all the girls among that main cast of 4 there.
I wouldn't say I judge Kirara series by how gay they are, but like that's a very heavy influence on how I judge them.
Yeah,
very infatuated with each other. It's good.
Yeah,
it's it's absolutely not the kind of gay that I'm interested in. I am not going to say queer bait, but it's definitely like they're never going to make it. They're never going to be like we're girlfriends. They're never going to be
right,
like,
or at least they wouldn't do that until the end of the manga. It's not something that would happen in the process of the story. I think it is a little too. A lot of kid in a manga feel like that. Even like New Game, they're not going like Dean and Co. If they ever get together, it's going to be at the very end of the manga. It's not going to be any time within the actual story, despite the fact that Dean is like the gayest girl of all time.
There's so one thing I did really appreciate is the fact that they've personified the types of manga they draw and also paired them. So I was like, this is something because
this is a contentious topic, actually.
Jackie,
what?
Oh, is it? Because
which pairings do you go with? The kohai senpai senpai or the kohai senpai?
It's to me it's pretty obvious. It's the shonen and shoujo go together, and the
porn
pure
and
manga and
coma.
the lewd manga go together. Yeah, to me, I think that's what they're going for, right? Isn't that
I think
what
there's a
they're
lot of
telegraphing?
mixed messages. Come back to this a different week.
It's okay, but the thing is that shonen and lewd mangaka, you may have missed a key piece of dialogue between them. Shonen mangaka was like, "Hey, yeah, like I could be a boy. Like that seems cool. I wouldn't mind that." And then
That's
she
my
says,
favorite line.
and then she
That
says,
was really good.
"No, that was
I like
really
that.
cool." But then lewd mangaka over there says, "But there's stuff we couldn't do if you were a boy." Or what was it? Like,
Yeah.
No, that wasn't. That
No, it
wasn't
was like
quite
if you were a boy, we
how-
couldn't have as much skinship, which is
yeah, that was who it was.
What? That's not how Crunchyroll translated it at
no.
all. Jackie,
Well,
do you remember?
Crunchyroll translated it as
We
we couldn't be as close. Yeah, no, but like the Japanese phrase is skinship.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
Okay,
so
fair
she's
enough.
like, "Hey, if you're a man though, we ain't fucking, and that would be unfortunate."
Okay, I think that's a little further than what she meant, but like,
That's probably what she was getting at. So there's room for both sort of sets of ships. I think there's ammo. It's tough.
Lachlan has heard me be very divided on which one I prefer.
Yeah.
Here's
Zeri
the
has
thing,
heard me be very divided on which one.
Here's the thing we need to get to. We're 2 episodes in. Let's rank them. Let's rank them girls.
Kao's-chan is
Shonen
number one.
Top best.
No, I think
knew you
Kao's-chan
would
is the
be
best.
shonen.
Okay, you haven't seen season episode 2, Jackie, have you?
I have not, no.
Kao's-chan is
Episode
real
2 is
gay. She's really gay.
episode 2
It
is.
is.
good.
No,
Episode 2
she's
is
like
good.
number 2 for me for sure.
Kao's-chan is like the gayest.
I only know them by their manga types. I don't know
Yeah.
their names.
Kao's-chan is the
Sorry.
main
Kao's-chan
pink
is for
hair.
coma.
So the worst girl is the main girl.
No, she's the best.
No.
Do you remember
No,
when she
she's
said,
really, really
okay,
good, Brooke.
Important quote.
She's the best girl.
She said, "I want to be scolded by the beautiful teacher too."
Okay, that
Ooh.
was really good. That was really good. Don't get me wrong, but
Relatable feels.
She's the worst girl. She's the worst girl. I mean, it's just not my type. Jackie immediately, like we were watching it. And Jackie
no, I
was
mean,
immediately
Shonen-
like,
She's not my type.
No, she's not my type either. I'm not like into her. I
She's
just
just
like
good.
enjoy her.
No, I like my type of character. I don't have types of fictional characters like that. I mean, like it's a character that I don't really enjoy too much.
No, I mean like Shonen
But,
manga is my type in that sense. Like
Shoujo girl. Shoujo girl is the best girl.
Shonen.
she's good too. I mean, I like all 4. You know, if I didn't like all 4, I couldn't like a show like this.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, the way I put it is it's 2 5s, a 7, and a 9 for me in terms of rating scale. Because the shonen girl and the 4-coma girl just don't do a whole lot for me.
Oh, what
I just don't like Chunies.
to androgynous
Just as soon as-
females.
No,
what
but-
are you doing?
Okay, androgynous, good. Chuny, get out of here.
Chuny is really good too.
Oh, I love Chunies.
You get on the podcast, Brooke. You
Happily.
appreciate Judy.
Chunies are the best.
Yes.
Yeah.
So done with Chuny. It's done. It is done. Chuny is over.
No, Chuny is stronger
Chuny's
than
cute.
ever.
Chunies are over 2018.
Chuny, okay, but consider.
Changed my mind.
But consider. Chuny lesbians. Oh, very strong. Tough to come back from that. That's a real strong one there.
It's a
Ooh.
great dynamic. I love it.
No. You just took something I don't like and put something I like on it, and now you've ruined something I like. That's all you've done.
No,
can't
chuny lesbians. That sounds adorable.
You can't take a Nutella sandwich and put cucumber in it, and suddenly cucumber's good. Like,
Well, I mean, cucumber is
That's not how it
bad.
Than cucumber.
Cucumber.
Is like cucumber actively off-putting to you?
it's just something I wouldn't put with Nutella.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Then again, I did see like this UK recipe, cucumber sandwich. What are you doing, guys? It's literally like cucumber
I
on
don't-
white bread with butter.
I don't approve of
Fucking,
cucumber sandwiches.
you're gonna argue that British
Ew,
people aren't
that's
peak
gross.
white? Get out of here.
Yeah, you
That's
get
so
out
gross.
of here. Anyway, tune in weekly for our Comic Girls chicken
I was just about to
discussion.
say, yeah, Comic Girls is
Yes.
definitely going to be the height of discourse on this podcast going forward. I think we have
Yes.
selected
I will
it
probably have
as
to
our...
tweet out a link to the Crunchyroll page after this recording.
Yeah, I need full time to talk about how Manga Time Kira helps disrupt normative ideas surrounding romantic
It is
orientation.
I do have to shout that out. There is a lot of kind of normative disruption, which I don't know if that's the words I was looking for, but it's what I'm going with. I like Lewd Girl a lot. Like, I feel
She's
like
definitely your type, yeah.
well, it's more just I like the fact that it's a girl in a very cutesy show who is allowed to be sexual and have sexual interests and have a sexual career, and isn't massively judged. I mean, yes, there's jokes, there's riffs on it, but she's not lessered by it. And I like that so much. Probably my favorite thing about it, to be honest.
So as the uninformed everyman in this discussion who hadn't even seen the visual for Comic Girls until today,
Yes.
is the purple-haired one the lewd one?
Yes.
I knew it. I just Googled this and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna find the one Brooke likes. Oh,
It's
there she
pretty-
is.
It's pretty easy. To be fair, it's pretty easy. If you say, okay, there's one of these girls writes 4-coma, one writes shonen, one writes shoujo, and one writes porn, it's pretty easy to pick, like, yeah, to put a job to a face there. I
It
think.
really is. Like, I guess that was what you were saying, where they kind of
they
embody
personify them. Yeah,
their-
they personify them. Like the little girl, the little immature and pure girl is the 4-coma.
Pure.
No,
She
not
pure.
Okay, you get what I mean. Now.
The pink-haired one that's crying?
Yes.
Okay.
Innocent and naive.
And
No,
the
not too
really-
innocent
the height of-
either. Naive.
She's
It's
just
tough to-
anxious. She is not. She is not pure or innocent in any way.
I mean, I get that. Anxious is kind of pure, though. There's something... I don't know.
She also implied she wants to fuck her teacher.
But there's nothing impure about that.
You know what? You're right. You're right.
Let's normalize sexual attraction between women. It's not impure.
Any means
It's natural.
possible.
It's absolutely true. Okay. We went a little long, but I totally was fine with it because Comic Girls,
Yeah.
big discourse, big good. Yeah,
The big show this season.
big showdown this season. We should try and make. I want to push for Comic Girls to be a thing, like to be like, okay, shut up about My Hero Academia, shut up about Mega Bloks, shut up about Golden Kamui, whatever. None of it matters. Comic Girls. Comic Girls.
The actual
Okay,
title
these girls.
is Manga Shoujos.
You could sell this to me just based on the chuny girl. I'm calling it
if
right
you
now.
prefer,
Oh yeah, no,
If
I'll hook you up with some good
she is pretty
content.
good.
Aw, yeah.
They're all
You
selfies.
You might have heard of its Japanese name, Manga Girls.
It's Manga Shoujos, damn it.
But yeah, let's
Manga
keep it
Musume.
okay, cool. How
did we go from- What?
I just realized I don't have a trans culture.
Uh,
Okay,
Well,
okay, it's
then
fine.
you're just fucked. I don't
we
either,
say this
though.
every week.
No, I'm usually prepared. Sometimes I scrap them because someone dropped a really good one and I don't want to waste mine.
Abandon, yeah.
Yeah, but no, I've got one. I'm picking up one of my abandoned ones from like a week ago. Okay. That's been it. Just to remind everyone, book club for this month is Inside Mari.
Comic Girls on the side.
Yes, that is true. Formally Inside Mari, informally Comic Girls. So look for that episode 8. Plenty of time. Still got plenty of time to read it. It's a very short read. All on Crunchyroll. Just search Inside Mari.
Comic Girls is also on Crunchyroll.
It's true. Comic Girls. Just search Manga Girls and you'll find it. Yeah. So
this episode went weird directions.
It did.
It was fun.
It was fun. We went too serious. That's the problem. We went too serious to start, and I feel like
had to counterbalance it.
To normalize, we had to just go sloppy.
Yeah, we just went real shit post there.
Well, I'm always sloppy, so.
Oh no.
Sloppy seconds, okay. Jackie. Okay. Anyway.
God.
Okay, seeing as you just said that awful thing, Jackie, what is transculture this week?
Making lots and lots of mistakes on recording.
Okay, that's coming out pretty strong. Ferris, what is transculture this week?
Transculture is having your first dose of HRT and 5 minutes later thinking, is that a change? Is that a change? Is that a change?
Oh my God.
That's
strong, very powerful.
Oh no, I need to abandon one. It's the second time I've abandoned.
No, I'll go
I feel like this is a mark of I've done a good one.
Yeah. Zaria, what is
transculture is being unable to avoid going to the bathroom in the middle of an hour and a half long recording.
I'm holding in so much right now.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Can we just get the episode over with?
Lachlan, for Jackie's sake,
transculture this week is defending the honor of good anime butches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree, but
I'll join you there.
I'm just gonna kind of riff off Ferris. Transculture this week is stabbing a stress ball with a needle.
Yes.
That's also very good.
I love it. I vote for that one.
No, but I vote for yours.
Yeah.
Is that a change? Like, oh my God, that's like the first 2-3 months of HRT.
I literally was like, I felt my throat get a little scratchy, and I'm like, is this it? Finally? And it was like 3 hours after my first shot.
So I usually feel really different after 3 hours after my first shot, but maybe in a different context.
Or like 3 minutes. If you're doing it right, it doesn't take 3 hours. Are we cool? Oh, okay, guys. It's Ferris, yeah?
Yeah.
Do I win?
Mm-hmm.
Do I win?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yes! Yes!
Is that your first?
It's my first
win?
I take it.
Yay!
Hey!
I almost won last week with the porg, but then Alicia was like on point. So
Yeah. That's true. The pork was good. Okay. Okay, guys. Thank you for listening, everyone. We have been the Transculture Club podcast, and we will see you next week.
Gotta go pee. Bye.
Same day.
bye-bye.
Bye.
See ya.